Hello, welcome to Stampin' Peace with Mary Knabe. I'm happy you're here tonight. Hi, Pam and Penny. Let's see who else is popping on. I've got a great Stamparatus technique for you tonight. This is the fourth Facebook Live in my Stamparatus technique series. And so I'm looking forward to sharing that with you. Before then, I want to tell you about my most recent class, or my most current class to go, my newest class to go. And it features the wonderful Peaceful Deer bundle. Oh, I should flip this so you can see this a little better, shouldn't I? There we go. So the wonderful Peaceful Deer bundle, it includes the stamp set and the coordinating punch, and then you'll make 8 cards, 2 each of 4 different designs, and here's a look at those. And I think in all of these I have some inside decorating for you as well. Whoops, not that one. And there's the last one with another fun way to decorate the inside of that card. So that information has gone out in emails. It is on my blog today, stampinpeace.com. And you can also find that here on Stampin' Peace with Mary Knabe Facebook page, and also my Stampin' Peace VIP page. If you have any questions about that, please contact me by email or text or Facebook Messenger, and I will get back to you with that as soon as I can. Please note that Facebook Messenger has not been sending messages on a real timely basis. I don't know why that is. Sometimes I get people's messages immediately, and other times I'm not seeing them for a day or two, and I don't know why that is, but just be aware of that. But I do check that every day. So latest class to go, Peaceful Deer. Now today I'm going to be showing you a new Stamparatus technique, showing you how to stamp in a circular form or a wreath shape. Wreaths are something I always enjoy stamping, especially at this time of year with fall and the Christmas holidays. But I'll be using the Gorgeous Leaves stamp set, and it has some amazing coordinating dies too. And we might be using those a little bit as well. So I'm going to flip my camera around now to show my workspace. And while I'm doing that, I would ask, if you have not already shared this video, please do that now so other people can join in the fun and also learn a new Stamparatus technique. I'm going to show you 2 different ways to actually use this technique. Let's scoot this a little bit closer to me. There we go. So I'm going to show you this first sample, and I will show you how to make this leaf wreath. And then I'll show you another sample using that same technique, and then we're going to do a little bit of a variation of that technique. So once again, welcome to all of you to Stampin' Peace with Mary Knabe. I'm glad you're here to learn this Stamparatus technique. This is the 4th Facebook Live or video I have in my Stamparatus technique series. So if you haven't seen the others, you can find those right here on Stampin' Peace with Mary Knabe. And you just go up to the more, click it, and then click media and videos, and you'll find it. I am also posting these to my YouTube channel and blog, so you'll see it in lots of places. But if you can't find those others, please do let me know, and I'll be happy to share the links with you. All right, for this card, I'm using a 4" by 4" square of Very Vanilla. But before I actually do any stamping, I want to make a template. So this is 4" by 4", and I want this to be centered on my small grid paper. I told you if you have the Stamparatus or you're interested in getting one, that I highly suggest you purchase the small grid paper. And this is a perfect example of why. This is one of the reasons I want you to have that, because it makes this technique much easier. So on this piece of grid paper, which measures 7" by 7", I want this to be at exactly the halfway mark. All right, so I'm centering this right in the middle. So 3.5 inches, 3.5 inches, and I've got it centered. You can see I've got 1.5 inches above, below, and on the right and left sides. So now I'm just going to trace my 4" circle. And I'm going to trace it once again, but this time I'm going to turn it, and I want it to be setting out, laying out in a diamond shape rather than a square. And again, I want it to be centered, which means the left and right corners should be on the 3.5" line, which they are. And then I want my top and bottom corners or points to also be on the 3.5" line, going the opposite way. And once you have that, see, I can check all my 4 corners right where they should be. Then I'm just going to trace this square. Oops, going to trace this again. And now you see I have this template. I've got the square, and then I've got the 4" diamond. So now I'm going to lay a piece, I'll put this right here so you can see the sample. So now I have my 4" Very Vanilla cardstock, and I'm just going to set it in the center. Now for this, I don't necessarily use my magnets that come with the Stamparatus, but if you feel better using them, you certainly can. The one thing I will say is it does make it easier if you at the very least, use your magnets to keep that grid paper in place. Each time you want to be sure that that grid paper is pushed all the way up to the corners so that the top and the side edges of the grid paper are right in line and butted up to the top and side edge of the Stamparatus itself. So then you get your cardstock in place, and I always just start with the square, and then you're going to lay your stamp of choice right there. Now we're not going to do repeat stamping, so that's why I'm not real concerned with putting my magnets on the cardstock. But if you are more comfortable with that, please do. I feel like my screen is just a little crooked here, and it's kind of throwing me off when I look up at the computer. That's a little better, I think. All right, so I've got that in place. And I've got it at the top, right in the center. I'm going to pick up my stamp, and I'm using mossy meadow for this card. So I'm going to stamp. And because I'm using only one stamp image and I'm going all the way around, I can turn to the next point. So I can go from square to diamond, square to diamond. In a later card we make together, I'll be showing you a slightly different method. And we'll do just the four corners of the square first, and then we'll do the four corners of the diamond shape. But for this sample, using the same stamp image and same color, I'm going to go between the square and the diamond shape each time. And as I'm working, you can probably see why I don't lay the magnet down there each time. But again, if you're more comfortable doing that, go ahead and do it. It's just that the magnets are not as necessary because we're not repeat stamping with without having to move our cardstock. Oops, did I skip one? Let me think. Yep, I skipped one. And so with the 4 square corners and the 4 diamond corners, you're going to end up stamping 8 times. It sure is nice to see so many of you on here. Thanks for spending part of your evening with me. And thanks for sharing this video as well. I really appreciate your help in being able to reach more people with my stamping. So now I have this perfect circular wreath. So I'm actually going to take this off because I don't need it for my next, or I guess I could leave it there, right? But I really don't need it for the next card I'm going to do. But let's go ahead, before I show you the next one, let's go ahead and put this together as a card. And I do want this to be a fall card. So I am going to, let's see, I don't know what it is, but the Cajun Craze is sort of my go-to fall color. It's always the first orange I grab for fall, unless I'm making pumpkins, and then I like to use pumpkin pie. But for leaves, I always like to, I should show you. Well, that's all right. I can show you differently. So the start of my card is square, but I am going to put it on a standard size rectangular base. And I'm just doing exactly what I did on the sample, just changing out the color of that card base. And I have cut several leaves from the brushed metallic cardstocks. So it comes in 3 colors. Here, I'll show it to you really quick. It's too pretty not to show you. So the brushed metallic cardstock, oops, I just about spilled all my scraps, comes in these 3 colors. So you can see They work well together, but they also work well separately. And then you can see why it's called brushed metallic, because you can actually see brush strokes through it, although it's perfectly smooth and easy to work with. So I'm just going to add a few of these leaves, and I'm going to keep it real simple here and just use some of my mini glue dots. Oh, didn't quite grab that one. And did you know you can stack glue dots? Like, I think 3 to me is a nice number, but if you stack your glue dots 3 at a time, it gives you some depth, but it doesn't, it's not as thick as dimensionals. So it's sort of between being flat with just one mini glue dot and being up higher with one dimensional. Kind of in between. This one doesn't want to pick up. There we go. So sometimes I do that, like I'm going to here. And then I'm going to add a few other leaves just for fun in a different color. And now these would have been good for me to use my, what do I want to say? My adhesive sheets. Why don't I think of those sooner? But I'm just going to add a few leaves here. Maybe, let's see, how about this one also? I think this will be better with a glue dot. I think that's pretty good. And then I want some kind of ribbon or bow on there. And I think I will go with, I've got some scraps of baker's twine. So I think I'll do that, make a bow using these scraps of baker's twine. And I've got just enough. Isn't that funny how it works out? I've got just enough to make a triple bow using 3 strands. I like it when my scraps work out that way. Are you guys that way? I'm pretty frugal when it comes to using up my scraps, whether it be DSP or cardstock or ribbon, whatever it may be. But I like how that turned out. I could make this using my scraps. And I think that looks pretty good, although I don't love it. What about you? You know what I'm thinking is, how about, should we just put a little gold knot there, make it all gold? Or oh, I think I like this. What do you think? This is the diamond weave ribbon. It can get kind of thick if you're making a bow with it, but I'm just going to use a knot right there and not worry about it too much. It does look pretty tied as a bow, but it gets a little too bulky for mailing the cards. But I do like the knot. And sometimes a knot is just right. Sometimes the knot is just right. You don't need more than that. There we go. Marion, you are correct. You could easily color your twine beforehand since I didn't color it before making the bow, I thought I'm just going to set that aside, and I think it's going to work great for my next card. All right, so here are two samples of making a wreath with a single image, single stamp image, and a single color. Now I want to show you another one. So we're going to do pretty much the same technique, but this time I'm using two colors. And you could also do more than one stamp image. For now, I am going to use just one stamp image, but two colors. But you could change it up. So for example, if you have a stamp set with several small flowers, you might choose different flowers and different colors. All right. So, is it Jean? Yes, I do sell Stampin' Up! Products. So anything I am using in tonight's projects are available to purchase through me on my website using this host code, or you can call me, email me, message me, and I'm more than happy to take care of you. In fact, I would be thrilled to earn your business. So once again, I'm starting with a 4x4 piece of very vanilla cardstock, and I'm starting at the square, and I'm going to lay my stamp near the top of that square. I'm going to pick it up with my stamping plate. And your Stamparatus does come with two stamping plates. Oh, Marian, thanks so much. Marian Henrik is actually part of my Mary Stampers team of Stampin' Up! Demonstrators, and she has been for several years. And I have to give her a shout out right here because Marian just had her best month as a Stampin' Up! Demonstrator ever. So super happy for her, super proud of her, and she's just an all-around great person and good friend. And please know that I always welcome people to my Stampin' Up! Family, my Mary Stampers team. You don't have to be a business builder if you don't want to. You don't have to sell. You don't have to have classes if you don't want to. You can simply just be a part of our community and enjoy the Stampin' Up! Discount. But if you are interested in building a business or perhaps earning a little extra income, then I'm more than happy to help you with that as well. Oh, you have the stamping platform. That's great, Jean. Usually it's the other way around. People have the other things and not so much the Stamparatus. Okay, so if you noticed when I was stamping with the Bumblebee ink, I only stamped with the cardstock in the square position. And I did that 4 times. Now to get the Cajun Craze color or the Cajun Craze leaves in between those bumblebee leaves, I'm going to now stamp the next 4 images all with the cardstock in the diamond shape. How many of you have the Stamparatus? And have you or have you not tried the circle technique or the wreath technique with your Stamparatus? Isn't that pretty? Look how nice that turned out. Okay, let me clean this and remove this. And I'm going to set my Stamparatus aside for now. And if you notice on my sample, I have these little leaves that I stamped in Mossy Meadow. For this, I wanted the tiny leaves to look very random. Kathy, it is. It's just, and I did nothing except make my template and then just keep moving that cardstock around. And it looks wonderful, doesn't it? But I chose not to put this stamp on the Stamparatus because I wanted these little Mossy Meadow leaves to look a little more random and not perfectly placed all the way around. So let me show you how I did that just real quickly. I stamp and then maybe I turn it the other direction. And you can see I've got it a little more random than I would have been able to get had I put this stamp on my Stamparatus. So I just wanted a little bit different look. And that's why I did the other big leaves on the Stamparatus and not use the Stamparatus with those tiny leaves. And then I made this bow earlier, so I might as well use it here. Trying to decide where I want it. I think I'm going to go right here, change it up a little bit from my sample. Remember, whenever you have a bow, the easiest way to attach that bow to your cards or paper crafts is just by having one little mini glue dot on the back of the knot of your bow. And now I've got this ready to put on a card. I'm going to go ahead and make another square card with this. And now I have had people ask me, so the measurement for this is 4x4. So my finished square card is 4 1/4 by 4 1/4. So to get that size, I need a piece of cardstock that measures 4 1/4 by 8.5 inches. And then I will simply score it at 4 1/4 right down the middle. Now I have been asked, people have said, but Mary, you can't mail square cards without additional postage. That is actually incorrect. You can mail square cards without additional postage if you have that card in a standard rectangular envelope. So in other words, if you want to mail your 4 1/4 by 4 1/4 card, I just slip mine right into our standard Stampin' Up! Envelopes. The same ones that I use for my 4 1/4 by 5.5 inch cards. Okay. If you would make a square envelope or you have square envelopes, it's the square envelopes that will cost you more postage. Okay. So I encourage you to make your square cards so that they will fit in your standard rectangular envelopes, just like all your other cards, okay? What do you think of that? Would somebody like to win a card tonight? If you would like to win a card tonight, in fact, I'll give away both of the sample cards I made. Or I'll hang on to my samples. I'll give away the 2 demonstration cards that I made with you. How's that? And I will send them with a standard size envelope so you can mail them off to somebody else. Make somebody else's day. Spread the joy, right? If you would like to win one of the cards I demonstrated with today's Stamparatus technique, just type in the word Stamparatus in the comments now. Okay? Type the word Stamparatus. Let me scroll through the comments here to see if I missed any questions. And then I have one more sample that I want to show you. Oh, so many people on from all parts of the country. Oh, and it looks like Penny and Jean know each other from somewhere else. Thank you for being here. Looking, did I miss any questions? Oh, Marilyn, I'm glad you have the Stamparatus, and I hope you give the circle technique a try. Fran, you're right. It looks like it was die cut, doesn't it? Shannon, I do hope you try this. I think you're going to love it. Okay. All right. Didn't miss any questions. Some people. Oh, Penny, thank you so much for introducing Jean to my card making. I appreciate that so much. And I'm so happy to know that she knew you from card making first. That's awesome. And Penny knows how wonderful it is to share the joy of stamping and card making. So big kudos to you, Penny, for sharing that and getting others, giving others the opportunity to enjoy that as well. Okay. All right. So here is the final sample. And what I wanted to show you was with this is I used the same Gorgeous Leaves stamp set, the very same leaf that I used on my first fall card, but I made it into a Christmas or holiday card. I used Evening Evergreen on this, and I've got Cherry Cobbler cardstock and Cherry Cobbler and gold ribbon, and then I added some gilded gems as my embellishments. So a lot of fun. Remember too that any of the square bases that you make can be used for square cards as well as your standard size cards. Alrighty. I hope you enjoyed this demonstration of another wonderful and easy to do Stamparatus technique. The purpose of this Stamparatus technique series has been to show you multiple ways to use your Stamparatus. It does more for you than just helping you with repeat stamping or stamping multiples of the same thing. It can do so much more for you. So I hope you enjoyed today's Facebook Live. I hope if you have not already seen the other 3 videos in my Stamparatus technique series that you will take some time to view those. When I post this to my blog in the next few days, I will also post the links for all 4 of those consecutive videos in the Stamparatus technique series. All right, everybody, have a great weekend and keep on stamping. Or I shouldn't say weekend, it's only Wednesday. I don't know what I'm thinking. Have a great rest of your week and keep on stamping. Take care.